One of the tools that we can use factoring for is to actually solve equations. So, more particular, polynomial equations. So let's say we wanted to find out when this polynomial 15x squared minus 14x minus 8 is 0. Well, if you haven't seen my video on factoring, take a look at it. But I showed you that this actually factors into 5x plus 2 times 3x minus 4. Well, the only way that this product 5x plus 2 times 3x minus 4 can equal 0 is if 5x plus 2 equals 0 or 3x minus 4 equals 0. Because remember, anytime you multiply something times 0 or 0 times something, you get 0. So if this factor is 0, then you're going to have 0 times this term, or this factor, which is 0. Or if this factor is 0, then you're going to have this factor times 0, which is 0. So what we have to do is just figure out what makes these two expressions 0. So the first one, I can solve it by just subtracting 2 from both sides and get 5x equal negative 2, and then divide both sides by 5. So x equal negative 2/5 makes the first factor 0. So then that means that's going to be a solution to that polynomial equation. And then 3x minus 4 equals 0. If I add 4 to both sides, I get 3x equals 4. And then if I divide both sides by 3, I get x equal 4/3. So actually this has two answers, negative 2/5 and 4/3 will make that equation a true statement. Now, if you might remember earlier that you have, when I factored x to the 4th minus 16 equals 0, I actually got x squared plus 4 and x plus 2 and x minus 2. I got 3 factors. Now, if you try to set this factor equal to 0, then that would mean that x squared would equal negative 4. So x squared can't be negative 4. In other words, it can, but it would have to be imaginary numbers. So for now, I'm just going to say that there's no real solution to this. Okay? So there's no real solution to that. But these two factors can equal 0. If x plus 2 equals 0, you can solve that by just subtracting 2 and get negative 2. And then to solve x minus 2 equals 0, just set x minus 2 equal to 0 and then solve that for x, and you get x equal 2. So this has two real solutions, negative 2 and 2. It also has two non-real solutions, but I'm not working with those just yet. Okay, now this one, I factored this one by grouping in an earlier video, and then when I factored it, I actually had a binomial that factored further into x plus 3, x minus 3. So this one has 3 factors as well, 5x plus 2, x plus 3, and x minus 3. Well, if you set 5x plus 2 equals 0, then you can easily solve that. Just subtract 2 from both sides, then divide by 5, you get negative 2/5. This one, if you set that equal to 0, just subtract 3 from both sides, and you get x equal negative 3. And then this one, just add 3 to both sides, and you get x equal 3. So this has 3 solutions, negative 2/5, negative 3, and 3. I'm going to show you one more here because a lot of times when students get a factor of x, they don't realize that that leads to one of the answers. So here, if I factor this, all you have to do here is just factor out the common factor. So 2x will factor into both 2x squared and minus 10x. So if I factor 2x out of 2x squared, I just get x. And if I factor 2x out of minus 10x, I get minus 5. So this factors into 2x and x minus 5. Well, 2x equals 0 does have a solution, x equals 0. So obviously if x equals 0, then this would be a true statement. And then also if x minus 5 equals 0, this would be a true statement as well. So that's the end of this video. Just did a few problems on solving polynomial equations by factoring.